I didn't kill him. I don't even have a gun. I'm scared to death right this second. I'm not a monster.
This is Billy J. Phillips, the world's dumbest killer, because after former boss, he doesn't even realize CCTV cameras caught him right at the scene.
So this camera is the corner house, but that's your car. I know it's your car.
Now he'll try to explain away a mountain of evidence proving that this calm man is far more ruthless than anyone could imagine.
Okay, are you a cold-blooded killer?
I did not anybody.
So what happened?
On the morning of June 23rd, 2021, police arrived at a quiet neighborhood in Bethesda, Maryland, for a routine check on 66-year-old Jeff Biddle. What they found inside quickly turned into a brutal scene. Jeff wasn't just a successful CEO. He was a compassionate leader who had spent years building his company Payment Solutions from the ground up. But his kindness had a blind spot, an employee named Billy Phillips. Billy, a 36-year-old fraudster fired months earlier for embezzlement, wasn't content with just stealing Jeff's money. He wanted his life. Billy had cooked up what he clearly thought was the perfect cover. For 24 hours, he pretended to be Jeff, using his phone, his money, his identity, convinced he had fooled everyone, and he's still convinced. Watch how his entire story starts to contradict itself.
All right, Billy. Do you know why they're here?
Not exactly.
What do you mean by not exactly? Do you have some idea?
They told me I was under arrest and that I would be talked to when I got here.
They didn't tell you what you're under arrest for?
No, sir.
Did they tell you you had a warrant?
They did.
But they didn't tell you what it was about?
No, sir.
Okay. You don't have any idea what it would be about? So you're here about some checks that you deposited. Okay.
Okay.
Have you deposited any checks lately?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why do you sign like that?
Right away, the detective asks Billy if he knows why he's here, instead of telling him directly. It's a simple interrogation tactic. Let the suspect talk first and see what he admits to.
I could explain it to you, but you probably wouldn't get it.
Well, why don't you try? Because I've heard a lot of... So maybe I would.
I deposited checks that I shouldn't have deposited, mainly out of desperation with new baby on the way and back was against the wall.
Whose checks did you deposit?
Steve Willard's.
Steve Willard's. Did they go through or did they bounce?
They went through.
Okay. How much were they for?
Normally like 25.
Okay. How did you come into possession of the checks?
Again, some of the checks I already had in my possession. They were given to me, and then certain things happened.
So you mean they were like legitimate checks that he wrote to you?
They were given to me in case of emergencies.
So blank checks.
Okay, with the understanding that okay, let's not write the bank off here. Okay, but let's, again, it was in case of emergency, and I worked really close with the man.
Okay, how long did you work for him for?
Since 2016. 2016, 2017.
Until?
2020. July sometime.
Why'd you leave?
Well, he went crazy. There's no other way to say it.
I mean, I've talked to the guy, so
he went.
Billy casually admits that he has forged checks before on a different former boss named Steve Willard. He says it like it's a minor footnote, knowing fully well that this is bigger than a fraud case. What Billy doesn't seem to grasp is that he just handed the detective a pattern, because Steve Willard is not the only former boss Billy has stolen from.
When you have the mood swing back and forth.
Bipolar.
Mm-hmm. However, it being as close as I was to him and talking, it was more like paranoid, schizophrenic.
Yeah. What was he paranoid about?
A lot of people in the company.
Cell fire?
Yes, sir. Okay. And
what was he paranoid? Like, what about people in the company?
Well, certain people coming after his position, trying to take over, trying to screw him over at the board, and so on and so forth. And unfortunately, he was right that they were trying to do that, and my job was monitoring and giving him information.
Were you like an IT auditor?
I wasn't an auditor. I was more of a jack of all trades IT personnel.
Okay. How much was he paying you?
$83 a year.
Okay. Plus health insurance and all that?
Plus health insurance.
How much money was it for? What was the total? Roughly.
20.
20,000?
Something like that. I mean, if you put them all together.
Yeah, like I said, roughly. I don't expect you to know that off the top of your head. So are Steve Willard's checks the only checks that you've cashed? Or deposited? I'll say cash and deposit, and I use them kind of indeterminate,
There was...
Billy's unbothered persona is about to crack because this case just crossed the line from financial theft into something far more serious. Murder.
Who's Jeff Biddle?
Guy I used to work for.
You ever cash any of his checks?
I have.
Have you ever forged any checks from Jeff to yourself?
Twice.
Okay, when was that?
I don't even know when that was.
What do you mean I know when that was?
It was recently.
How recent?
Last week.
Okay. It's kind of shitty timing, isn't it? That's kind of shitty timing, isn't it? How do you know Jeff? You said you used to work for him?
Yes.
Okay. This is kind of like a shitty printout. I'll see if I can get you a better one, but do you recognize that picture?
Yes, sir.
So this one is a check that you deposited into an ATM at the Navy Federal over in Crown.
Yes.
Okay. I know it's kind of hard to make it out over here. Here's a better picture of it. It's for $9,500.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you deposited on, it looks like, you can't read it here very well, but it's on June 23rd, which was last Wednesday, at 11:53 p.m. Okay, this one, you deposited, I believe, with the teller on June 23rd for $4,450. June 23rd, Navy Federal. There's no time on here, but I believe it was somewhere around 1 o'clock. Could be wrong about that. I mean, I have the records, but... Where did you get those checks?
Billy says he couldn't remember cashing those checks. Then, seconds later, next week slipped right out of his mouth. You don't just forget next week unless lying has become that easy. And now the detective is about to reveal the most embarrassing piece of physical evidence that no amount of explaining can talk Billy out of.
So, I can see you're getting kind of emotional. So, I'm just going to ask, you know what happened to Jeff, right?
I do, and that was, I didn't do anything.
Okay. Well, I'm going to stop you there. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay? We'll get to that in a second. Alright? Bill, you seem like a nice guy, man. Like, there's nothing personal going on here. Okay? Like, I'm not being nice to you as an act. I don't think anybody's been nice to you as an act. If you were a I would be one.
I understand.
Okay?
It's okay if I drink the water we were talking?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But why is Jeff's card in your wallet?
Who walks around with the credit card of the person they murdered? Only Billy Phillips.
See, Billy, the thing is that things happen, and things have happened, okay? And everything that happens for a reason, you know? And, you know, Jeff's dead, okay? And somebody killed him. It was a murder, okay? And I know that you were there, and I can prove it. I can prove it to you right here that you were there. But before we get there, okay, like, everybody has all this nice shit to say about Jeff. You know what I mean? Like, that's really the story here that we have so far, is how nice of a guy Jeff is, and how, like, I can't believe he had no enemies. I can't believe anybody would do this to him. And there's a reason what happened to him happened to him. I'm not saying because, like, he was a bad guy and made enemies with you or anybody else, okay? But, you know, obviously, like, you're in a situation in your life where there's a certain level of desperation, okay? I know Steve Willard fired you. You know, whether it was because you did something wrong or he was going crazy is kind of irrelevant.
Well, he didn't. Right.
Well, his HR got rid of you. Okay, again, whether it was for a legitimate reason or not, that still puts you in a fucked up situation financially. You got a new kid on the way, and you're strapped for cash. Okay, so I can completely understand, you know, like, how you're in this spot. You have a history, obviously, with Steve of stealing checks or, you know, writing fraudulent checks. Jeff's got money. You go there with the intention of taking his checks, and maybe he's home when he's not supposed to be, and something happens. You know, maybe you're like, you know, you did prison time, right, in Virginia. You don't want to go back to prison, and it's out of control and out of hand. That's a very different story than, like, you know, Billy's a monster that went to Jeff's house and brutally murdered him for no reason. Okay, those are two very different stories. All right, but here's the problem. I'm going to show you some records, and I'm going to show you how I know that you were there. Obviously, you cashed the checks on the day of the murder, 6/23. Well, you did one on, it looks like you did one on 6/25. I don't know if it just posted 6/25, but you did the two on 6/23, and, like, you know, that obviously is going to raise some red flags. So then we start looking. Who's that?
That's me.
Who's that?
Me. Me.
You're wearing damn near the same shit you're wearing now.
Yep, me. That's me. That's me. That's Mr. Bill.
I need your federal account records. I'm not going to go through that right now. There's something specific I'm looking for to show you. So these records are from Jeff's phone. Okay? Go ahead in a second. Have the scoop closer to you? Alright, so I want you to look at the date, okay? So 6/22, that's the day before Jeff was killed. Okay? This is at 10:20 p.m. Probably goes to sleep sometime after here. Okay? 6/23 at 5:55 a.m. He Googles Good Day Sunshine, which is a song.
Okay.
Alright? 6/23, 5:55, Good Day Sunshine. He searches for it again. 6/23, 2021, YouTube. 6/23, 5:55, Good Day Sunshine. He's listening to the song. Here he starts listening to the Beatles. Here Comes the Sun. Here Comes the Sun. Back to YouTube at 6 o'clock. Here at 6 o'clock. Then right here, 6/23 at 6:59 a.m. What's that? Can you read that?
SunTrust.
He goes to his SunTrust account.
Okay.
Right here, same exact time. You probably clicked another link on his SunTrust account. Okay. This is from his phone. Put that aside for a second. Here's his call logs. All right. 6/22, 6/22. These are all incoming calls. 6/23 at 7:58 a.m. He makes a call to that number. Do you know what that number is? It's SunTrust.
Okay.
This is the only time that Jeff Biddle has called SunTrust from his cell phone, going back to 2018.
Okay.
Okay. This is the last phone call his cell phone makes. Okay.
All right.
Now I want to move on for a second. Let me show you the bottom half. This is a forwarded email. The top half was forwarded to my partner. Okay. At 9:07 a.m., an email goes from Jeff to some of the membership of PSI.
Okay.
Had a family emergency come up this morning. More than likely, we've out of reach today. Apologize for the short email and will be in touch when I can. Thanks, Jeff. So when they got this email, immediately they became suspicious because Jeff wasn't supposed to work on this day. What I know about Jeff and what I'm sure you know about him is that he's a workaholic. So he's always at work. Well, he took off on Wednesday the 23rd. He was going on a date with this girl he just started dating. They were supposed to be going all day. So right away, the company is like, you know what I mean? Like, that's weird. And then Thursday comes around and he doesn't show up for work. And that's when the police get called and he's found dead. All right. But a couple of things about this email that I think are pretty important. So whoever wrote this email would have to know enough about Jeff and the company to know who to send it to, but not know enough to know that Jeff wasn't supposed to work or be in touch at all on Wednesday anyways. You see what I mean by that?
Mm-hmm. Billy has grabbed that water bottle more times than anyone cares to count, and if that isn't a man slowly boiling alive, I don't know what is. Now watch how Billy plays his most pitiful card yet, establishing that the reason all fingers point at him is simply because he once robbed a bank.
So the question is, like I said, did you go there and kill him because you have me fooled and you're just a fucking monster? Or did you go there because you're desperate for something and things got out of hand? And this is your opportunity, to tell that side of the story. They say there's two sides to every story. Well, if the side that I had was favorable to you already, you wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? So this is it, man. Like, this is your shot to tell us what happened. I know what happened. I don't know all the details. I don't know how it happened, and I don't know why it happened. But this is your chance to maybe put a little bit of an explanation on it, because people want to know, and people are going to be asking, and it matters. Maybe there's a reason for why what happened, or maybe there isn't. But there's only two people who know the answer to that, and one of them's dead.
And the other one's a convicted felon.
I don't care that you're a convicted felon at all. That has nothing to do with why you're here. I don't, yes, you're a convicted felon, you're a convicted bank robber, but that was a long time ago. Okay? And you're not here because I was like, oh, Billy did a bank robbery, he must have killed Jeff.
No.
You're here because everything lines up. The evidence puts you there. That also goes to show that, this wasn't some pre-planned out horrific thing. You did a awful job. If what I mean, if this is a pre-planned thing. But it looks bad because you're a big dude. You're 36 years old. He's a 66-year-old man killed in his house. It's bad, man. And you're wearing the same motherfucking clothes that you're wearing at the bank. You're wearing the same clothes that you're wearing on that video. Nothing here looks good for you. But again, the thing you have to hold on to is that there might be a reason for this. You didn't mean for this to happen. Or maybe you did, and I'm wrong, and you're just, but you don't strike me as that. The guys who took you into custody out by your apartment, they called me right away, right? And they're like, dude, this guy is as nice as can be. You've been as nice and as respectful as can be here. I'm younger than you, and you're calling me sir and shit. You don't have to do that anyways, you know what I mean? I'm not sir, I'm just Pete. But there's no question that you did this. There isn't, or that you were there. You cashed his checks that you forged to yourself the day he was murdered. And I'm not yelling at you to yell at you or being an asshole, but I'm trying to get it through your head that this is fucked up. And I'm giving you the chance to tell me what happened, because if you don't give me the chance, if you don't tell me what happened, you know what it looks like, and you know what they're gonna say. I can't make you any promises, man, but you're looking at this is serious. You think your bank robbery was bad? How much time did you do for that? 7. You think that was bad? Bro, you're looking at going to prison for the rest of your life. This is it, Billy. Right now, sitting here talking to me, this is the biggest moment of your life. Okay? It's bigger than when your daughter was born last month or earlier this month. This is the biggest moment of your life right now.
But there's just no way
There's no what? You're sitting here telling me I didn't do it, I didn't this, I didn't that, but you're not giving me anything other than, like, give me something here. Give yourself something here. You know what I mean? Like, this is your chance to explain what happened. Because it doesn't look good. It looks horrible. You know? But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there just isn't a reason. Maybe that's why you can't tell me anything. Because maybe you did just go there to kill him because you were mad at him. Is that not what happened?
No, that's not what happened, Pete.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, Pete. Call me Pete. That's my name. Okay? You don't need to call me detective or sir or anything. Call me Pete. Like...
See, no matter what I do, you're not going to believe me. It won't matter.
Well, you haven't told me anything, Billy. Like, you say that, but you haven't told me anything.
Now the detective is genuinely starting to wonder, was Billy really dumb enough to walk around in his murder clothes? Was he just willingly taking the fall for someone else's crime? Anyone could have wanted Jeff dead. The man ran a company. But one thing we know for sure, Billy's face right here is the face of a man who is running out of roads.
How did we get from Jeff listening to Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles to you sitting here in the homicide unit of the Montgomery County Police, talking about what happened? How did that... There's a story behind that. And dude, quite honestly, man, and I'm not just saying this, I've been completely surprised by your demeanor since we first met. I didn't expect you to be like the way that you are. I expected you to be like, I completely like was thrown off. But like, that's why I came and sat here and ate with you. I don't normally do that. But I'm like, man, like, this dude's in a spot, and I was always going to buy you food because it's the right thing to do and I can't starve you here. But I was like, fuck, I need to sit down and eat with this dude because, like, I feel horrible about what's about to come and what's about to happen. But, bro, you're not giving me anything here. You're not giving yourself anything here. Like, you know what happened. Like, you know how it happened. You're the only one that can put those pieces together. Because, again, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and be like, oh, you can just explain your way out of this and it'll all be okay.
I'm not.
But the fact is that, like, again, there's a huge difference between, there's a lot of, like, when things happen, when people get shot, or whatever, like, there's a lot of different reasons. Like, on one end of the spectrum, you have, like, where, like, somebody shoots and kills somebody in self-defense, right? That happens. And on the other end of the spectrum, you have a serial killer. They just kills people just to kill them. There's a huge space in between. And I don't think you meant to kill Jeff at all, okay? But I think something got out of hand, and what happened. But, dude, I'm telling you, if this is the spectrum, with what I have, what I've seen, okay, what that crime scene looks like, and you sitting here and not telling me anything, it looks closer to this end of the spectrum than this end. Okay, when maybe the truth is somewhere in here. But only you can put that out there. Only you can give that. Only you can give yourself that chance. Give yourself, like, help yourself here, man. Like, I'm throwing you a line. With the amount of evidence that I have, and I know that I don't have yet, but that I will have because I've been doing this for a while, and I know how these things unfold. Okay, like, I know what's gonna come in the future. Evidence-wise, at least I can take a pretty good guess. Like, I didn't have to come in here and talk to you today. You could have gone straight up the road. But that's not really how I operate. I believe there's always a reason for something. I mean, fuck, dude, I know the circumstances behind when your bank robbery thing. Like, I read the report, I talked to the investigator. Like, clearly that was the act of a desperate man. That was not a bank, like a serial bank robber or something you see on TV. Cash and Steve Willard checks. I know about all that. I mean, obviously that's not why we're here. I don't think there's any mystery why we're here. Cash and Jeff checks, like, or stealing checks from Jeff. Like, you got no job, or, well, you may have a job, but you've gotten fired from one. You got a baby on the way. I know how stressful that can be, even in the best of circumstances. And so do you, because you have other kids. I can understand why you would go try to steal or try to, you know, do what you have to do to feed yourself and your family. You know, and I understand, because I've been doing this job for a while, that sometimes shit just happens and it just gets out of hand. And you don't intend for something to happen, but it does. You know? But again, I can't stress it enough, man. Like, it's only you that can make that a reality. It's only you that can put that out there. Because what we have right now don't look good. His card is in your wallet.
I know it is.
You know, you deposited $94 cash, okay, from a man who religiously kept around $100 in his wallet. So even if you didn't take the money out of his wallet, it fucking looks like you did. You took his checks, you took his card, and probably his cash. And he's dead. I mean, that doesn't look good. Are you a monster?
No, I'm not a monster.
Okay. Are you a cold-blooded killer?
No.
Okay. Then something happened. You know, maybe something got out of hand. Maybe Jeff, you got there, Jeff fought back. You know, I don't know. Maybe you're like, this guy knows me, like, I don't want to go back to prison, and it just went south. You know, and you shot him once, and then you're like, well, I gotta kill him now.
I don't even have a gun.
Then how are you there and he ends up shot 4 times? Maybe he had the gun. You know, like, that's what I'm saying, Billy, is like, you're a convicted felon, and I don't say that to be, I say that because I know how hard it can be for a convicted felon to get a gun. You know, so it totally makes sense that you wouldn't have a gun. Maybe he had the gun. Maybe you went to his house, there's a disagreement, he pulls out a gun, you're a big dude, you get it away from him, and shit goes, maybe that's what happened. But, like, you're not giving me that. I mean, I just spun that up in my head, but I see how that could be a possibility. But you're not giving me that. What it looks like is that you went there with a gun and you killed him. So if that's not what happened, tell me. Because this is the only shot you're going to have.
Pete, I'm scared to death right this second.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's talk about that.
I want to trust you. Okay. I do.
Okay.
And legitimately, I have an explanation.
Okay.
It's not great. It's still bad.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, then what you need to do is trust yourself. You don't need to worry about trusting me. Okay?
But you're asking me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, every single time, hell, even Willard told me, you know, to not say anything and ask for an attorney. But I've always felt that, you know, just talking to somebody, you know, being upfront is always the better option. But
well, Billy, the thing is, man, is like,
and I don't want to be labeled as a monster because I'm not a monster.
So that's what I'm telling you, bro.
But they're already labeling me a monster.
Nobody's labeled you anything. Okay, it's just me and you here. Okay, nobody knows you're here except for me and the guys that I work with.
Hell,
you know,
my fiance and my son, though.
Well, there's nothing we can do about that. Okay.
You know, but
except put the right picture out there. Don't put the monster picture out there. That's not what it is. Let's put the right picture out there.
But see, you're not gonna believe you're not gonna believe it. I don't have a gun. I'm sorry, I just don't have one.
Okay.
Okay. Now, how I came into the checks was the same day. Okay.
Okay. Well, here's the thing, man. Is like it doesn't necessarily. Like, you're sitting here saying I'm not going to believe you. We haven't told me yet. First of all. Second of all, like, bro, like, there's only one way to go here, and that's up, because it looks fucked up. So tell me what happened. Tell me how you got there. Tell me how you got the checks. Put the story out there. This is your chance to write your side of the story. You know? And you don't have to trust me to believe that that's the truth. Like, this is your shot to write your side of the story.
Billy has managed to dodge every direct question thrown at him. The performance is impressive, in the same way a house fire is impressive. But things are about to get much worse for Billy because the detective is about to put evidence right in front of him that places him directly at the crime scene.
What kind of car were you driving today?
Next 3.
Whose car is that?
Marie's.
Marie's. Is it? It's registered to like her dad or something, right?
Yes.
You were driving. I think 2 days ago we had you on video with Sunoco too driving. You drive that car often?
Yes.
Yeah. So the times on this camera are a tad off. You know how some of those cameras can be. But at 7:02 a.m., this car goes by Jeff's house. So this camera is the corner house, which is the one next to Jeff's.
Okay.
So this is Jeff's street. Okay? So right around the same time that SunTrust website, accesses this car, which right now, like, yeah, I can't see the tag on this, okay? But that's your car. I know it's your car. Going by. Then that email sent at 9:07. All right? No other emails or any text messages go out from Jeff's phone. $9:20 in the morning. It's a bad picture because it's a still shot I took from a video. Okay? But this is you walking away from his house. And when we get your cell phone records back, I know exactly what they're going to say. You're an IT guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you know how cell phones work, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know that their apps are always updating. They're always trying to reach out to Wi-Fi and reach out to update.
Mm-hmm.
So we get this data called timing advance data.
Mm-hmm.
So about every 30 or so seconds, your phone is reaching out. I know what your cell phone's going to come back and say. I don't have it yet. I don't have the records back yet. So that's how I know that you were there when Jeff was killed.
Camera footage revealed that the car Billy used belonged to his girlfriend, Marie. She had just given birth 2 months earlier. So while Marie was home nursing his newborn baby, Billy was out committing murder, forging checks, and robbing a man with her car. He never once thought about the destruction he was bringing home to his own family.
I was there, but I didn't kill him.
So what happened? If you were there but you didn't kill him, what happened?
And this is the part that just...
So that's you on video. What happened? Was somebody else with you?
No.
Okay. Did he shoot himself?
No.
Okay. I know he didn't shoot himself because of where he was shot and how many times he was shot. So what happened? I know he was alive between 6 and 7. I know what time you got there. Okay? I know he didn't make that call to SunTrust unless he did it because you made him do it. You have his card in your wallet. Because the way it looks is it looks like you broke into this house, you kidnapped this man, and you held him hostage for 2 hours and murdered him in cold blood, and then cashed his checks on not only the day of the murder, but 2 days later. How does that look? It frustrates me because I know there's a reason. Like, I know you didn't just go there to kill that dude. Because I believe, because you have some working knowledge of his company and his work habits because you used to work for him, that you had no idea he was going to be there. I don't think you went there to hurt him. I think you went there to steal checks.
Actually, I knew he was...
So you knew he was going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how did you end up there at 7 o'clock in the morning? Why did you go there?
Even after all of this evidence laid out in front of Billy, he's about to double down and spill even more lies that somehow managed to be dumber than the ones before them.
I didn't kill anybody, Pete.
So what happened? You said you got there before 8 o'clock. How did you get in the house?
This is my life. I can't afford to have you all twisted up, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying, man. This is your life. And this is a pivotal moment of it. And this is your chance to explain how we got here.
But even if I explain it and I show you, and I tell you I didn't do it, I'm still going to be charged for it, and now it's going to be up to the damn courts, so the courts...
How did you get in the house?
To the front door.
Was it locked or unlocked?
It was unlocked.
You rang the doorbell?
I knocked on the door a few times.
The front door?
Yes.
Alright, so then what happened? What happened after you knocked on the door?
I'm not a monster, Pete.
Well, tell me. Tell me why. Prove it to me. You knock on the door. What happens? How many times you knock on the door?
Twice with the standard knock I do.
Okay. Did Jeff come to the door?
No.
So did you let yourself in?
I went and smoked a cigarette first. Thinking maybe he was just in the bathroom or he was running late.
Well, all we got right now is you at the door. You knocked on the door. You went and smoked a cigarette. Then what happened?
Should I have an attorney or no?
I can't tell you that, man. This is your life, man. This is your chance to tell us what happened. This is your chance. Get out there. You know? This is your chance to write your side of the story. That's all I can give you, is an opportunity. Okay? And that's what I'm trying to do. So what happened after you knocked on the door?
There's just no way. There's just no way. Can I please talk to my fiance?
You'll have a chance to talk to her. Okay? But I can't let you talk to her yet. Okay? You'll get a chance. I want you to be able to talk to her. You know? But I can't have you talk to her yet.
Why not?
Because I can't. You know, we got to finish what we have to do here. And then you'll have an opportunity. She still has her phone. We didn't take it. We left it with her. You know, we don't want to leave her with a newborn baby and her phone.
Where's my son?
His mom's coming to get him.
Why would you take her phone?
We didn't take her phone. That's what I'm trying to tell you. She has her phone.
I don't even have her number.
Well, I'll make sure you have it before we leave here. So you got there before 8. You knocked on the door. No answer. You went and smoked a cigarette. What happened next?
Pete, what I did was wrong, but I didn't kill him. Okay? I did not kill anybody.
So what happened? How did you get into the house?
At this point, Billy is basically arguing that he just happened to be in a dead man's house for absolutely no reason at all.
I can't do it. I need an attorney, I'm sorry.
Billy Phillips was charged with first-degree murder, home invasion, armed robbery, and use of a firearm in a felony. The evidence left no room for doubt. GPS data placed him at Jeff's home during the murder. The victim's checkbook was found in his car. The murder weapon was recovered at his girlfriend's house. And those busy with family texts, forensic experts proved they were sent hours after Jeff was already dead. On February 6, 2023, Billy pleaded guilty. The judge was unmoved by claims of financial desperation or a lack of prior violent offenses. On May 22, 2023, Billy Phillips was sentenced to life in prison plus an additional 65 years. Under Maryland law, even if he were ever granted parole, the consecutive 65-year sentence ensures he never sees freedom again. Jeff Biddle was a man who gave people second chances. Billy Phillips repaid that kindness with 4 bullets. Thank you for watching today's video. Don't forget to subscribe and check out one of the craziest cases I've ever covered right here.